Hey everyone, welcome to the Hollow Voices channel. I'm the Hollow Voice, and today I've got another dark and mysterious story for you. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and share this video with friends who love a good tale. And remember, all the stories you hear here are written by me, carefully crafted to take you into a world full of suspense and mystery. Now, to get the best experience, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and let yourself be carried away by the sounds and words. Every detail is designed for you to fully immerse in the atmosphere of the story. So sit back, relax, and get lost in the Hollow Voices. To my parents, the house we live in was nothing short of a miracle. About 3 years ago, we needed to move. Our family was growing, and my parents wanted to escape the chaos of the big cities for something calmer. So we did. We moved into a 2-story house that had enough rooms for everyone, even in case the family grew again. The house was old, but had undergone renovations about 10 years earlier, making it quite cozy, especially on the inside. But one thing that never sat right with my parents was the absence of a basement. The original plans included a cellar beneath the kitchen. Still, they brushed it off. Maybe the design had changed, or maybe the workers had buried renovation debris there. Not uncommon. My younger brother was born the month after we moved in. With the extra space, my parents got a golden retriever to grow up with him. Ironically, the dog seemed to prefer my company, especially at night, since my room was much quieter. A newborn brought new life into the house, new sounds, smells, schedules. But sometimes at night, I was certain the sounds I heard weren't coming from a baby. Still, I ignored them. My parents took care of everything. Every night, Zoyo and I would go to bed and play for about 30 minutes. Then he'd curl up on my rug. I'd hang my hand over the bed, stroking his long, golden fur until I fell asleep. One night I woke up with a jolt. Zoyo was standing, staring at the door. I wasn't sure what had happened. I swore I had just woken from a strange dream, chains being pulled tight and then snapping back. But in the dead of night, there was no sound. I called Zoyo over to calm me, and he jumped on the bed and fell asleep at my feet. The next morning, as my mom made breakfast, she casually brought up a strange noise she'd heard during the night. I froze. So, it wasn't just a dream? I thought. She must have noticed my reaction because she quickly added that it was probably the garbage collectors outside. I was relieved, but not entirely. It was Saturday. We had planned a family day, but my dad was called to work unexpectedly, so we stayed home. I spent time cleaning my room with Zoyo's help and even brushed him thoroughly. Hair clumps formed all over the floor, but they all seemed to drift toward the door, as if pushed by a breeze. I checked, windows closed, no draft. Still, I ignored it, cleaned everything up, and mopped the floor. When I returned to the room, I saw prints on the freshly cleaned floor. They looked like human handprints. Terrified, I screamed, waking the baby. My mom rushed in and found me trembling in the hallway. She calmly explained, "Sweetheart, it's likely just where you touched the floor while cleaning. Your body heat dried it unevenly. No one entered the house, much less your room." I wanted to believe her. I had no other choice, so I moved on. That night, the fear hadn't left me, but Zoyo's presence calmed me. I started to drift off. Just before I fell asleep, a jolt ran through my body. Something told me to look under the bed. I wasn't even scared, probably due to sleepiness, so I leaned over and looked. Nothing. Completely empty. Then the tips of my hair, barely touching the floor, began to sway, as if wind were blowing from beneath the bed. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Time froze. In less than a second, I saw one of the floorboards slowly closing. No sound, just movement. I didn't want to wake my family, so I ran to the living room, grabbed something heavy and some tape, and sealed the board as best I could, shaking the entire time. It took nearly 2 hours for me to fall asleep again. The next morning, I told no one. After lunch, I took Zoyo for a walk and chatted with some neighbors. I asked about the previous owners. They told funny stories and we laughed. Then I asked about the house's construction. They said it was built 27 years ago by a retired couple hoping to enjoy their final years and leave something for their children. But after just 3 years, the wife died, and the husband eventually went mad. He was placed in a care facility, also now deceased. I shared this with my parents. They had no idea. The following nights were quiet. No noises. The space under the bed stayed sealed, just as I had left it. Maybe it had been a loose board. Maybe air had lifted it. I let it go. Then came the next Saturday. I woke at 8 a.m. Zoya was nowhere to be found. The door was closed, but the box of books and the tape I had used to seal the board were now stacked against the door. I looked under the bed. Nothing. Completely clear. Panic struck. Someone had been in my room. I screamed. My dad rushed in. Together we moved the bed and searched the floor. With a small hammer we found the loose board and lifted it. What we saw was not normal. A narrow tunnel, about 6 meters deep. My room was on the upper floor. Only a small child could fit through it. With a powerful flashlight, my dad shone light into the hole. We saw a shadow move unnaturally fast across the bottom. I screamed. My dad froze. He tried to stay calm and told me it was likely a rat or raccoon. Just the basement after all. We spent the next 3 days searching for an actual basement. Nothing. Finally, we sealed the board with nails and wood glue. No way it could open again. 7 days later, I returned to my room. I felt peace. It was over. That night, I called Zoyo to join me in bed. As always, I dangled my hand and began to pet him. His presence soothed me. I started drifting off. Then I felt weight on the bed, something climbing up. Startled, I opened my eyes. Zoyo was at the foot of the bed, but I was petting him, wasn't I? Suddenly alert, I pulled my hand back. It wasn't fur I was feeling, it was hair. Panicked, I slowly raised my head to look at the rug. And there it was. Hands clutching the edge of my mattress, a nose pressing against the fabric, eyes locked on mine, milky white and glowing in the faint light, a smile full of rotting teeth, a stench of death. Then, everything went black. Thank you for watching this story on Hollow Voices. If you enjoyed the experience, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with someone who enjoys dark and mysterious tales. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what kind of stories or themes you'd like to hear next. Your ideas help shape the future of this channel. And once again, thank you for listening. Your presence here means everything. Until next time, stay in the shadows.